What's good, everybody? My name is Josh, aka JaceTheDon. Welcome back to another day stream. We did a stream yesterday, pretty good discussion. We talked Marvel, we talked Captain America Brave New World, why it needs to be a good film, not just a mid film, not just a decent film, but a very good film. And you guys brought a lot of good discussion. But today we're going to be talking about the DCU. There's a lot of DCU news that's been coming out in the past week or so. We got Superman on the way. Summer of Superman is going to be approaching pretty soon. So we're going to be talking about Superman at the Puppy Bowl. What's going on with that? Supergirl in Superman? Question mark. It seems like we just got a confirmation of that. And James Gunn has just recently came out and said that he's going to be working on his next DCU project. So there's a lot to talk about, and we have other DCU topics that you guys will probably want to get into. So we're going to get into all of that today. I'm just waiting for people to come into the stream. Excuse the blurriness. This is just a normality of what I'm dealing with right now until I can get a better internet service. It turns out that my internet might be the reason why I'm so blurry. So if I do show up very blurry, please excuse my internet. Again, it's just really bad. So we're just going to work through it. The show must go on. So again, we got a lot to talk about today. So I'm going to see if we have any comments. I don't think we have any comments right now. I'm just going to wait just a little bit to, have people come in. So I want to know anybody who's watching, if there's anybody watching on the replay, let me know. How was your day? Did it snow in your area? How are you doing? What's currently going on? What's on your mind? Just anything, if you have one positive thing to say today, or just anything positive that happened today, just say what it is, because, I think today's been a pretty good day. It snowed here last night. Yesterday, while I was streaming, it was actually snowing, but the snow was starting to melt here. So, it wasn't anything bad. Thankfully, it could have been bad. I know a lot of places got like 5 to 6 inches of snow. I believe we only got like 2 to 3 inches here. So again, people are still driving on the roads like it's nothing. So, I live in the South, so this is a very rare occurrence. We don't get snow that much. You live in New York and those places, they get snow all the time. But, here it's a kind of a rare thing. So again, but yeah, we're going to jump into the topics. Like I said, the first topic is Superman at the Puppy Bowl. So we did get some kind of announcement that Superman would be at the Puppy Bowl in some capacity. And I do want to share that article with you guys so we can go over that here. This is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. And they say this: Warner Brothers Discovery to use Puppy Bowl for Superman marketing push. Now, I won't go too far into this article, but I will kind of discuss some things. It says that Warner Brothers Discovery is using one of its tentpole annual events in a marketing push for the biggest film of the year. The company is bringing back the Puppy Bowl for its 21st installment this year, but will use the game to bolster its upcoming DC Comics film, Superman, which is meant to be the jumpstart in James Gunn and Peter Safran's new DC cinematic universe. In fact, WBD says that Gunn will appear with the Puppy Bowl with his dog, who served as the inspiration for the super dog Crypto in the film. Gunn will introduce a sneak preview of Superman and will deliver a special message to viewers. And that's pretty much it. It goes even further into more stuff. But the most important thing is that we know that Superman is going to get some kind of preview at the Puppy Bowl this year. As far as what that is going to be, that's something we'll have to find out. So the question I want to relay to you guys, if there's anyone right now on the stream or you're watching this on replay, what do you think is happening? What do you think we're going to get at the Puppy Bowl pertaining to Superman? Now, I do have a theory that we'll probably get something. The Puppy Bowl is an event where there's a bunch of dogs and they do sort of like a game. I've watched it before. It's really interesting. It's just really adorable. But I wonder, like, what are we going to do? What are they going to do at this event? What kind of preview are we going to get? And if James Gunn's dog is going to be here, it would only make sense for this to be a crypto related clip. Now, there was a set video that came out when Superman was filming with Mr. Terrific, and you could see him kind of like he has dog treats in his hands, and he's like kind of guiding a figure of some type, and we find out that that's crypto that Mr. Terrific is kind of like guiding treats to. And you can also see Mr. Terrific's foot has like a bandage on it. So I would imagine that Crypto might have bit Mr. Terrific on his foot. That's probably why he has the bandage on his foot. So my guess is this clip is going to be something crypto related. Maybe we get an introduction to crypto. It's got to be something there. But then James Gunn also says in this article that there's a special message that he wants to relay as well. So I wonder what exactly is that special message. And I do think that because the Puppy Bowl, I think, lays on the same day as the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong about that. He could probably say, like, hey, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this special preview of Superman, but that's not all we're going to give you. We're going to give you a brand new trailer during the Super Bowl. So look out, stay tuned. Superman is coming, and, July 11th. Look up, or whatever he's going to say. That's my guess as to what else that other special preview is going to be. But I want to know your guys' thoughts. What do you think? Do you guys think this is a crypto-related clip, as well as maybe James Gunn's relaying a message that we might get a trailer during the Super Bowl? I'd like to know what you guys think about that. But yeah, I think Crypto is a very cool, interesting character. I like Crypto. I grew up watching Crypto the Superdog, so for me, that was my first ever. For a lot of people, that might be their first introduction to Crypto, is from that cartoon. But I can't lie. Like, I used to rush home from school to make sure that I was home in time to see Crypto the Superdog. So again, it was just a really cool thing to see in the trailer. If you guys saw my trailer reaction, my reaction to that was just so, like, I was so hyped because, again, you hear rumors, you hear the little, sprinkles and teases here and there about what could happen, what couldn't happen. But Crypto was one of those things that I was like, I don't know, are they really going to do that in this new universe? And it looks like they are. We saw him in the trailer, and he's helping Superman, guide Superman back up from whatever happened to him, which I think Lex Luthor had something to do with him falling into the snow like he did. But yeah, so like I said, Superman at the Puppy Bowl, really interesting. Like I said, I want to hear you guys' thoughts about it. And I guess we can move into the next thing. If there's more people that come in and want to comment something, they can. So the next thing we got a confirmation of is of Supergirl and Superman. So yeah, if you don't know, now you know. Supergirl is going to be making an appearance in Superman. So it's really interesting as far as, what her role is going to be. What is it, just going to be a small role? Is it just going to be something to acknowledge, like, hey, I know you, you're my cousin, things like that, because this is already like an established universe. So I would imagine that this conversation might be either a flashback or it could be a modern day conversation. It just all depends. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the article again from Hollywood Reporter. Shout out to Hollywood Reporter with the exclusives here. And it says that, I don't know if you guys can see it. I don't think you guys can see it. Okay, you guys can see it. All right, cool. I'm just going to put this right there. There we go. Perfect. So it says here, I'm not going to go into the article, but pretty much if you want to know, we know that Jason Momoa is going to be playing Lobo in this. We have, Supergirl's parents. This is the casting for Supergirl's parents. This is going to be her mom and dad. So that's kind of a brief thing there with that. If you want to know more about that article, you could check that out. But the big surprise in this article, I guess for a lot of people that was like really big and talked about, was this part right here. And it says the project is one of the first features developed by DC Studios, headed by James Gunn and Peter Safran. The duo unveiled as part of the initial slate that Alcock was picked up as Supergirl almost a year ago and will first appear in Gunn's Superman movie. Supergirl gets underway this winter and will shoot in the UK. So actually, as we speak right now, I believe they are starting to film Supergirl. So that's kind of something there that's really cool. We know that Supergirl is currently filming, so hopefully we get a Supergirl pretty soon. That would be nice to see what her suit's gonna look like. Is it gonna look similar to, you know, Superman's, or is it gonna be very different? I would imagine it's gonna be very different. It's gonna be very similar, I would imagine, to her comic book suit. So with maybe some other iterations in there from different Supergirls throughout the years. I think that would be kind of interesting. What's up, Carter Blake? How you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. I do see Wally West as the DCU Flash because his comics are post-crisis. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that because this universe is different. This is sort of like a reverse Kingdom Come universe, you know, with how they're doing things and heroes already existing in this universe and kind of humans already accepting the fact that there are heroes within this universe. So it does feel like they could be setting up maybe Wally West as the DC Flash. I could definitely see it being a possibility. Yeah, with that news, how do you guys feel? Do you guys feel good about Supergirl appearing in Superman? Do you feel like maybe they're doing a little bit too much? Do you feel like they just waited for this? I want to know your thoughts because, I mean, it's kind of been rumored that she would appear in the movie, but I wasn't really like 100% set on her showing up. And even then, I kind of wish this article didn't announce that she was going to be in this movie. I wish they would have kept it a surprise. In my honest opinion, I really wish they would have kept it as a surprise for people to go into the movie and be like, oh, snap. Like, that would have got a big pop reaction. And I mean, it's still going to get a big pop reaction, but imagine the pop reaction that they would have gotten if they would have not announced her being in the movie. I still think it would have been a very big reaction out of people in the theater. So that's how I feel about it. I think they shouldn't have announced this, but what can we do? It's been announced, so it's kind of just one of those things that you kind of just have to say, like, okay, well, I wish I didn't know that. Now, I want to move into the next part. James Gunn has been doing a lot of the work with Creature Commandos, with Superman, and people have been asking, okay, what is James Gunn's next DCU project? What is he up to? What is he cooking right now? So it does turn out that we do have something, sort of a confirmation or sort of like some information on what he's writing, what he's working on. So I'm going to share that right now. And this is coming from Collider. I'm sure this was shared somewhere else, but I'm going to share it with Collider because I feel like that was the one that shared it before. And I'm going to actually do this again. Okay, cool. Let me know if you guys can see that. If not, I can kind of put up the zoom on this. Let's see. It says, as Creature Commandos gets fans and critics approval, and the first trailer for Superman tugs at the fans' hearts, James Gunn is hard at work not only finishing the David Cornsweet-led feature, but also charting out the rest of the DC universe. The fan-favorite director recently teased on Threads that he's already working on his next project. Now, we're going to skip through all that because that's pretty much just saying about the Gods and Monsters universe that we already know about. We know about those projects and stuff. But he says this, and I quote, "The bulk of my time is dealing with post-production on Superman and Peacemaker. But I'm also spending a fair amount of time pre-writing my next DC Studios project. and watching dailies. I think that's dailies, and watching dailies and offering ideas on other projects. So with that in mind, it seems like James Gunn already knows what the next project is going to be. He's working on it. So there is no break with James Gunn. He's full steam ahead. We do know that we got Clayface. We have the uh, Deathstroke and Bane movie. There's been some other rumored stuff out there. Obviously we have the Blue Beetle animated series that's rumored that Shola Manaduena, who plays Blue Beetle, he talked about some. We do have a sort of a rumor about Sergeant Rock getting a movie, which if you saw Creature Commandos, then you know who Sergeant Rock is. If not, I can probably show a picture of Sergeant Rock, but apparently they want Daniel Craig to play Sergeant Rock. So that sounds like something that we might see. I'm going to type up Creature Commandos. This is him right here. Okay, I'm gonna share a picture. So let's stop this. Present. So if you guys don't know who Sergeant Rock is, that is Sergeant Rock. If you've seen Creature Commandos, if you've seen Creature Commandos, hold on. Okay, if you've seen Creature Commandos, then you know that that's him right there. So we've seen him before. Apparently, he might be getting a project. We'll have to see on that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I wanted to get your guys' thoughts. What do you think James Gunn's new project is going to be? Do you think it might be Sergeant Rock? Do you think it might be someone else? And what would you want him to write? What project would you want him to handle next? You said seeing Supergirl in the Superman movie is going to be great. Yeah, it is. It is. And like I said, it's not like it takes away. I will say it does take away the surprise element, but it won't take away because I feel like there will still be people who cheer. There will be people who, they will still get that reaction out of people. Just even if they know, but just seeing her on screen. Because sometimes it's easy to say something, but then when you actually see it on screen, then that's when you're like, oh, snap, like this is real. This is legit. So I think for a lot of people, it's kind of one of those situations where they're like, dang, if this is true, I wish I wouldn't have known this. I wish they wouldn't have come out and confirmed this. But I'm still going to be hyped for it either way. The Flash or Aquaman? I could see Aquaman because James Gunn has always tweeted. I don't know if you guys have seen, but he always tweets like mermaid, like a mermaid emoji, and it's like a man or mermaid man emoji. And every time I see that, it's like, is he talking about Aquaman? Is he teasing Aquaman? So I would not be surprised if he's currently writing an Aquaman project. But the question that I would relay to you and, people who are watching the stream, if it is Aquaman, who would you want to play Aquaman in the DCU? I'm curious. I know who I want to play Aquaman in the DCU, but I don't know if they're going to get him. Plus, I know he's going to be busy. He's doing other stuff right now, but still. For me, my casting for Aquaman is Roman Reigns. Now, you're probably saying, like, the wrestler Roman Reigns? Yes, Roman Reigns, because, I don't know, I just feel like Roman Reigns would be pretty good as Aquaman. He just kind of gives off that vibe. And Roman Reigns technically is acting. He is acting in movies now. So that would be a nice way to kind of get him into that bag if he wants to. I don't know if they'll do it, but I just think he would be a pretty cool Aquaman. But I could see James Gunn kind of going for a more comic accurate Aquaman with the blonde hair and that sort of thing. Which one thing I hope they do with the Aquaman in the DCU when they do introduce him, I hope that he can, be more powerful than he was, with Jason Momoa's version. I'm not gonna clown on Jason Momoa's version because the first Aquaman movie, I thought that was a good movie. The second one wasn't, but I do feel like it's a missed opportunity because you watch a lot of the cartoons, so it's like a lot of the cartoons you see how they show off the different powers that they have, right? I wanted to see Aquaman be able to talk to animals and just do other stuff. Like Aquaman is a really resourceful person in the ocean. And I feel like he hasn't really ever been able to give the source of his power, in I feel like a live action movie. In animation he has, but in live action we just haven't seen that. So hopefully that's something we see with the new DCU with James Gunn going the more classic. He's doing a mix of classic but also modern in his DCU. I could see him doing that very well. So again, it's only a matter of time. I don't know who should be the DCU Aquaman. Yeah, that's something. Like I said, I don't think people really talked about too much about who should be the DCU Aquaman. But again, I just have a feeling it could be Aquaman. That might be the next project that James Gunn is working on. But then again, it could be another vein of characters that we haven't seen before because we got the Creature Commandos. Like I said, the rumored Sergeant Rock movie. They're doing. James Gunn is doing a lot of D-list, C-list characters. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's working on another project with some characters that we haven't seen on screen before. So again, hey, what's up, Anthony? How you doing? What do you think WWE Jade playing Storm? I am for it. I am 100% for Jade Cargill playing Storm. I'm going to have to find a picture on here. But there is a picture of Jade Cargill where she actually cosplay as Storm. And when I saw that picture, I said, yes, this is Storm right here. Marvel needs to hit her up and get her as Storm. But not just in that, just her character in AEW, but also WWE has really given off that Storm character. So I most definitely see her as Storm. And that, to me, that's like I wouldn't say number one, but it's definitely top 3 pick for Storm in the MCU for sure. Actually, let me pull up that image right now. Jade Cargill, Storm. I think that's good. Okay. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. You probably will. You probably will. Let me switch. Stop. Okay. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this or not, but I think you should. So you see right there, right? I actually. Okay. Nope. Got to do it the other way. The other way. So you guys see right there. You see the picture. That's the Storm cosplay she did. And like I said, ever since I saw that, I said to myself, like, that's perfect. Like she's got the comic, the OG Storm outfit on and everything. Like that's perfect. So to me, I most definitely see her as Storm, a potential Storm actress. But yeah, so I definitely agree with you, Anthony, if that's what you're saying. But yeah, then we can kind of move on to some other DCU topics if you guys want to talk about some other DCU stuff. What are some DCU projects you would want to see? Is there something that you want me to talk about in particular in terms of the DCU that I haven't talked about yet? I haven't really talked too much about Creature Commandos. If you guys are down for that, I can talk a little bit of Creature Commandos. I've been trying to give a review, but I've had so many other things going on that I just haven't had the time to talk Creature Commandos lately. but I think I will at some point. I've seen this popular fan casting for DCU Batman. Alan Richardson. Thoughts? I think he could work. Yeah, I see it. I watched the show Reacher on Amazon, and there's a scene where he's in a suit, and he just, to me, he just, I see him as Batman. I really do. I see him as Batman. And I'm going to pull up an image of him. So this is Alan Richardson right here, for those who may not know. I said Reacher, go, if you haven't already, please go check out Reacher. Really good show. It just got announced for season 3. But if you can see right there, I don't know if you can, but you can see right there, that's Alan Richardson. And I just think personally he would be dope as Batman. I could, I know that's like a very popular fan casting, so it feels kind of like, but I just see him. I do. But again, going based off of the structure of Batman from Creature Commandos, I could kind of see them maybe going for a different style of Batman in that as well. So right here. So we saw Batman in Creature Commandos, and you see he kind of has a bit of a buff design in a way. So again, I can honestly see them doing maybe like maybe going based off of that, maybe casting someone with the same body type as the way they drawed him. Because not James Gunn did say that with characters, they are going to, switch from animation to live action. That was one of the big things he stated. Because we're going to see characters from Creature Commandos for sure. We're seeing Rick Flag Sr. He's going to be in Superman, and he's going to be in Peacemaker Season 2. Now, Frank Grillo, the actor who plays Rick Flag Sr., he has came out and said that initially they wanted him to have his white hair like he does in Creature Commandos. But because he was filming another show, he wasn't able to do it then. So in Superman, when you see him, he's not going to have the white hair like he does in Creature Commandos. So they might do a thing or a one-off joke where maybe he dyed his hair black. Maybe he just wanted to dye his hair black or something. So maybe that's something they could do there. And then I think Peacemaker, he said that he had a little bit of the white hair going on in Peacemaker Season 2. So again, we're going to see him get the white hair at some point, the full white hair. But for right now, like I said, because he's filming other roles, he wasn't able to do it. But characters, for the most part, are going to look just about the same as they do in animation in live action. Does DCU own the TV show Mantis? TV show Mantis. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Mantis. I don't think so. I don't even know. I actually don't even know who this character is. This is the first time I've seen this character. This is the first time I've seen this character. Is Mantis something I should watch? It's definitely an old show for sure. It's got that 90s feel to it. You said we also have live action Clayface as well. Yes, we do. Which we got Clayface in Creature Commandos as well. So the world building, one thing I will say about Creature Commandos is that the world building in that show is really good, because that just lets you know, you can see Clayface right here in all his glory. But that just lets me know that Clayface has probably already interacted or faced off with this Batman. Whoever the Batman is in this universe, he's already faced him. And that's what's just so interesting about this universe, is that they're not trying to tell origin stories. They're not trying to, tell us what we already know about these characters. I'm sure for some characters they will go that approach, but I'm sure for a good amount of the characters, they'll probably already establish them as they're already here. We got the engineer. She's in the Superman trailer. She's going to be in the Authority. So I wonder if she's going to be the leader of the Authority. Or is it going to be somebody else? We have Mr. Terrific. You know, that could be a way to set up the Terrifics. Team Terrific. So that could be something they could do there. So again, there's just so much stuff that they've already built upon world building wise that we're going to get more and more stuff, you know, more and more context as to, you know, what's going on in this universe, what's been going on, what has happened, what's going to happen. Said, do you think a live action Crisis on Infinite Earths with the Snyderverse and Gunverse in the future? You know, I would not be surprised. I say give it about maybe 10, maybe 15, 20 years from now. I would not be surprised if they do a Crisis on Infinite Earths or, like I said, because this universe is a reverse Kingdom Come. So I would not be surprised if they do something similar to that, but kind of going back to where it was before. So I could definitely see something like that with the Snyderverse and Gunverse. I mean, anything is possible. I don't think they need to focus on that right now. I don't think they need to do a Secret Wars level event or an Infinity War level event right now. They need to just focus on the world building of the DCU, establishing Superman, establishing Batman, establishing all these other characters that they're going to introduce. That's what they need to focus on right now. Whatever the big event is going to be in the next 10 to 15 years, they can worry about that down the line. But right now, they need to focus on the things that they have and kind of just do more world building, you know, because again, James Gunn has mentioned that this universe isn't going to be like the MCU, where everything is connected. And I think a lot of people, when he said that, kind of took that as he was trashing on the MCU. But I think James Gunn is just doing something different with the DCU. And he wasn't really trying to go at Marvel, you know. So to me, that's how I take it. I think he's just going to approach every project as its own separate thing. Kind of like a comic book, right? When you buy a comic book, you buy a Superman comic book, it's different. You buy a Batman comic book, it's different. You buy a Wonder Woman comic book, it's different. You buy a Teen Titans comic book, it's different. Each project is going to have its own different tone, vibe, and style. And I appreciate that. And that's not to say that, you know, even by saying that, that's not to say that Marvel hasn't been doing that. They've been doing that too. Every MCU project has been different. It's just that a lot of people online just see everything as the same. But it's like, no, when you really get down to the context of the certain story elements that are being shown, it's like, no, it's not the same. You know, it's leading to something that has a similar interest, that the ending of what they're trying to do, but it's not the same in terms of tonally. But again, the DCU is going to be different. So I take it for what it is. And I hope James Gunn gives us the white eyes for the DC Batman. I hope so too. If we can get Wolverine after all these years, and people have been saying this for years, when are you going to give Wolverine the cowl? When are you going to give him the cowl? When are you going to stop faking us out? When are you going to stop showing us a suitcase with the cowl in it, in the actual suit, and give us what we want to see? And they finally did it with Deadpool and Wolverine, even though I felt like that's something they should have done years ago from the very beginning. They gave us that, and it felt good. You know what I mean? It felt good to see Hugh Jackman wear that cowl, pull that cowl down on his eyes. But I will say, the effects were a little bit wonky with his white eyes. I will say that. It did look very wonky at times. So if they're going to do a DCU Batman with the white eyes, they really need to focus up on making sure that it doesn't look weird. Because it could easily look weird with the white eyes. The reason why it works in Batman the Animated Series and shows like that is because they're animated. You know, you can draw the white eyes. You can, you know, emote them and show the different expressions. But when you're doing it in live action, It's a little bit different when you have effects, CGI and all of that. You have to take into effect what's going to work, what's not going to work. How is this going to show on screen? Is it going to look weird? Is it going to look, solid and fluent like it should? That's something they have to take into account. I would love to see the white eyes on the DCU Batman. And I know everybody has been saying about the suit, what suit they want. And I think you guys know what suit I want, because I think this suit would just be great. It's the blue and gray suit. I want to see the blue and gray suit. Dagnabbit. I want to see it. I don't know if I like that picture's decent. I'm trying to see. Right here. I like this suit right here. You don't even have to give him the yellow symbol. Just give him the blue, the gray, and the black bat symbol. That's all I need right there. I would love that to be the suit for the DCU Batman. Personally. So that's kind of like my request. I don't know if you guys kind of have maybe a similar vibe to what the Batman suit should look like in the DCU. Let me know what design you would like to see. Also, I think this is Mark Waid. No, this isn't Mark Waid. Mark Waid did do a suit like that, though, in the comics. In the World's Finest issue, yeah. Shout out to Dan Mora. I know a lot of people like his style. Some people don't like his style, but I like it personally. Do you think Lobo will be in a post-credit scene in the end of Superman? That's a good question. And it's a possibility. It's a possibility that he could be, but I could also see a situation where maybe it's something else, because I feel like in some way, shape, or form they want to try to build upon the heroes in the DCU. So maybe I could see a situation where maybe Superman goes out on a hunt to find other heroes, and maybe he tries to recruit them. And maybe this could be sort of like the build up towards the Justice League, maybe Justice League Unlimited, because I don't feel like they're going to do the traditional Justice League team that we've seen. I feel like we're going to have a different version of Justice League. I think it's Justice League Unlimited. I believe it's Unlimited. That's the cartoon. But I could definitely see the Justice League Unlimited Justice League also being a part of that too. Maybe being the lineup. I'm trying to see. There's different iterations of the Justice League too. So that again, there's so many different iterations of the Justice League. Now, here's something I would love to see as a post-credit scene. I don't think they'll do it right now, but we kind of got teased in the last portion that we would get like Martian Manhunter at some point. And, obviously it never went through. I would love for Superman to meet up with Martian Manhunter at some point. And maybe Martian Manhunter tells him, like, hey, I need your help. There's something, I don't know what it is, but something is coming, and it's not good. I would love that to be sort of like a post-credit scene for Superman, but again, I don't think they'll do that, but who knows? But I would love to see Martian Manhunter get introduced at some point. He said the gray suit would be excellent. Yeah, I love the gray suit. The blue and gray suit, I need to see that. I want the blue and gray suit too, and the bat symbol a mix of the early 2000s and Rebirth without the trunk, with or without the trunks. I feel like if we're going to have Superman with the trunks, Batman's got to have the trunks in this universe too. I just feel like it's only right. I think Superman will be the highest grossing DC movie ever. Hey, you know what? That's a bold prediction. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised. Because if we look at the highest grossing DC movies, let's look at that right now. The highest grossing DC movies right now, if we look at those, I know Aquaman is on that list. I think the Batman is on that list too, if I'm not mistaken. Highest grossing DC movies. So yeah, Aquaman is the highest grossing DC movie right now, still. So these are all the estimates of all the Batman, of all the DC movies. The Dark Knight, that ranged at 533 million. Obviously, the Batman, that one got like 700 million. That's not telling me the highest grossing. Let's see. Okay, so we have a list right here from IMDb. So Aquaman, The Dark Knight Rises, Joker, The Dark Knight again, Batman vs. Superman, Wonder Woman, which I remember Wonder Woman, The Batman, Suicide Squad, 2019, by the way, Man of Steel, Justice League. So those are all the movies that top 10 highest grossing movies, which I feel like if the timeline would have been different, I feel like the Suicide Squad, like James Gunn's Suicide Squad, had that one released not during a pandemic and also on Max at the same time, I think the Suicide Squad would have been on this list. I really do feel that way. I love the Suicide Squad, the James Gunn version, not the original Suicide Squad. I don't like that movie. I don't like what they did with it, personally. But yeah, so that's that. I'm trying to think. What other things that you guys want to see in the DCU? We got Booster Gold, which I don't know too much about Booster Gold, but I would imagine Booster Gold is going to be, maybe that's what James Gunn is working on next. Maybe James Gunn is working on Booster Gold. That could be something if he's working on that. Let's talk about the JSA. James Gunn might go with either the pre-crisis or post-crisis. I'm still thinking post-crisis. Yeah, the Justice Society of America, right? Yeah. That might be what they set up too, because if I believe they actually filmed something for Superman. If you guys know the Justice League building in Cincinnati, they based the Justice League Hall of Justice based off of a building in Cincinnati that you can legit go visit. Here's the actual building right here. If you guys want to plan on going to Cincinnati sometime, maybe there's somewhere you want to check out. But yeah, so apparently they did do a scene at this building. I don't know what that scene is, but apparently there's a scene in Superman with the Hall of Justice, from what I heard. But who knows if that was true or not, or maybe something they filmed for maybe a little promo. It could be something, but we'll have to see. So again, I think the Justice League lineup is going to be different. And I could see a scenario where the Justice League or the Justice Society of America, whatever they decide to call it, I could see maybe you have members come in and out. So you might have, Hawk Girl. She might be in there for a bit. Maybe she goes on her own little journey. So she's not a part of the Justice Society. She is a part of it, but she's not with the group right now. She might be doing something else, going on her own journey or whatever the case may be. So maybe then you have somebody, I don't know, like Plastic Man. Maybe he comes in and he, helps with the Justice Society of America for a bit, and then maybe he goes on his little journey. Which Ben Schwartz, who voices Sonic, has said multiple times he would love to play Plastic Man in DCU. So who knows? Maybe that could be a project that James Gunn is working on too. Plastic Man. There's just so many characters that, again, they could do. Is Blue Beetle still going to be a part of the new DCU? Yes, he is. Because Sholo Manaduena, who, shout out to Miguel from Cobra Kai, looking forward to the final part of Cobra Kai. He actually said on his podcast, Lone Lobos, with the Jacob Bertrand, who also plays Hawk, which I would love to see him play someone in the DCU too. I just don't know who he would play. But he did mention about a Blue Beetle animated series at one time. Let me see if I can pull that up. Blue Beetle animated series. Because there were talks about that. Here we go. I'll go with the Hollywood Reporter. So it says here, Blue Beetle animated series in the works at Warner Brothers Animation DC Studios. So we do know that they are planning something with Blue Beetle. So I would imagine maybe he shows up in Booster Gold. That could be an interesting dynamic there. Because Blue Beetle and Booster Gold do have kind of like a friendship from what I've heard. So maybe he shows up in Booster Gold, becomes a friend with Blue Beetle, and they set up that little partnership or something. But yeah, we do know that. I think the guy who does the Casa Grandes, I think that's the Loud House spinoff. He's the showrunner for it, and the director is Christine Martinez, who did Good Trouble. So the film writers are also involved with the project as executive producers. So yeah, they are planning to keep Blue Beetle. Yeah, here it is. It even says here, James Gunn and Peter Safran took over DC Studios. Gunn noted that Blue Beetle will have a place in its now called DC Universe. So there you go. Blue Beetle will return. So I hope that answers your question. What is your favorite JSA Embari? Like, what do you mean, like Alan Scott or maybe Jay Garrick? Alan Scott? Who's Alan Scott? Let me look that up. Alan Scott, DC. Oh, okay. Alan Scott's a Green Lantern. Interesting. See, there's so many. That's the thing, too, about Lanterns. That's something else we haven't talked about. I think Lanterns is going to be an interesting show, too, because James Gunn did say that we're going to see more than just Hal Jordan and John Stewart. Shout out to John Stewart, my favorite Green Lantern. But we are going to see more. So there's a whole Green Lantern family. Like, if we look up Green Lantern, this is the Green Lantern Corps. You'll see here there's a big, long list of different Green Lanterns. I don't know if you can see that image there. But if you can see in that image right there, you see we got John Stewart, We got this big monster looking guy. You got Hal Jordan, he's somewhere on here. Guy Gardner, I see is on here, which Guy Gardner is in Superman. So again, that's more ties to the Lanterns. Awesome, yeah, awesome. I'm glad Blue Beetle is gonna be in the DCU. I like Blue Beetle. I really enjoyed that film. Yeah, a lot of characters in Green Lantern family. I'm trying to think who else. What else do we have? Lanterns is going to be better than the Penguin. Listen, if the Lanterns is better than the Penguin, that's I'm not going to lie, that's like a very big bargain to put on them, because I mean the Penguin was it was great. It was just phenomenal. But if Lanterns can be even better than the Penguin, I think the DC universe is just on a roll, in my honest opinion. Because like I said, the Penguin was great. It was just a great series. And I know people are kind of mad because where's the Batman 2? When are we going to get the Batman 2? You delayed it a year, you delayed it another year, and I get it, because we should have been, if the timeline was different, we would have definitely gotten some kind of announcement about the Batman 2 probably starting filming right now. If things would have been different with the timeline, then they delayed it back to 2026. And then we're like, okay, 2026, I guess. Then they delayed it back to 2027. So now it's kind of like, okay, what's going on here? Why is this movie taking so long? So to answer I'll go into your question, Fernando. But I hope we get Kyle Rayner as the Green Lantern. Also underrated Green Lantern. Yeah, I definitely think we'll see Kyle show up for sure. But to answer your question, why is the Batman 2 taking so long? It's been 5 years since the first one came out. I wish I knew. I honestly wish I knew, because when I tell you the Batman, I watched this movie so much that it's like I know exactly what happens beat for beat. Like, that's how much I watch this movie and just adore this movie as a whole. And I really wish the movie would have came out next year like it planned to do. I really wish it did. Even though it was supposed to come out this year, actually. In October of this year, it was supposed to come out. Then it got delayed to next year in October. Now it got delayed back to 2027. So it's just, I don't know. I don't know if there's some ideas that maybe Matt Reeves has that he kind of wants more time with. He hasn't maybe had time to cook for a script. I don't know what's going on. I did hear something about Matt Reeves was dealing with a personal issue. I don't know if it's health-wise or what, but he was dealing with something personal to him going on. So maybe that's why he hasn't been able to do stuff for the Batman. Could be that. But I don't know. I don't know what they plan to do for that movie, but I want it to be good. I want it to be good, but I just don't know, because if the plan is to do 3 movies, which that also has to depend upon the success of the second film. The first film made over $700 million in the box office, which I don't like looking at box office numbers, because sometimes people do that to try to justify their means of their own biased opinions about stuff. I don't like going into it like that. But what I will say is that the second movie has to be just as good, if not better, than the first movie. It can't be a decent movie. It can't be just an all right movie. It has to be a good movie. And with what Matt Reeves has done with the Penguin, how calculated everything just seemed. He just seemed to have it all down, story-wise. I just have a feeling that this time around, the Batman might take it up a notch to kind of exceed. And I think this time around, people are going to be a little bit more aware, because when you put into account the Batman came out in 2022, which was during a pandemic, which everybody was still trying, unsure if they wanted to go to the movies, if they need to mask up to go to the movies. That was like a really difficult time for the movie theaters as a whole, and just movie companies as a whole, because a pandemic, when you have, something like that going on and you don't want to risk anybody else's life and health, it's kind of like people don't want to take that risk. You know what I mean? But now that we're out of the pandemic, and I hope we don't have another one in our lifetime, I hope we don't have another one. But what I will say is, this time around, because I feel like with the Batman in its popularity growing more and more over the years, where more people are more aware with that universe and show an appreciation to that universe, I feel that more and more people will be interested in the Batman 2 when it does come out. But then you also have that point of, yeah, we have waited 5 years. What's going on with this? So I definitely see that sentiment and point too, about why do movies take so long with this. So like I said, I just hope that whatever is going on, I just hope that Matt Reeves can, lock in and give us just a really good Batman film. He gave us a really good Batman film the first time. I'm hoping he can do it the second time. And yeah, Carter, you said, I think the idea of Matt Reeves' Batman being in the DCU is a good idea, but I still like it as it Elseworlds. Here's my thing, and I've said this before. As much as people like the idea of David Cornsweet's Superman interacting with Robert Pattinson's Batman, and you know what? Maybe if DC wants to do their own what if version, rather through a comic or a game or a cartoon, I think it would be cool to have like a DC Elseworlds. Well, that would be their DC Elseworlds is like their what if, I guess. Maybe. I don't know what you would consider it, but maybe you could do like a DC what if episode or a movie where it's basically David Cornsweet's Batman, David Cornsweet's Superman interacting with Robert Pattinson's Batman. Maybe that's something they could do to kind of feel that, like, hey, we hear you guys, we know what you're saying. But to me, I just personally don't like the idea of them combining the two universes, because I just feel like, how are you going to do that? Because, the Bruce Wayne in the Batman, he's kind of young. He's young, inexperienced, and he has like maybe 2 or 3 years into the game, because they based it off Batman Year 2 or Year 1. It's one of the comics, right? But if you're going to do a time jump, we would have to see the time jump throughout. You could say that maybe the Penguin kind of gave us a little bit of a time jump, even though we know the Penguin kind of served into the Batman Part 2. But I still feel like, personally, if you're going to do this, it has to make sense. You have to explain where this Bruce Wayne was. What was he doing? How does he have kids now? How does he have a Batman family? Like, you would have to explain all of that, and it would have to make sense. Because if not, then it just kind of completely ruins the canon of everything that you're trying to set up. So that's my only issue with the Matt Reeves Batman connecting with the DCU. And I just think, personally, that would take away from the DC Elseworlds brand. Because I feel like if that's the case, then people would say like, okay, let's have Harley Quinn be a part of the DCU canon. Let's let Teen Titans Go be a part of the DCU canon. You know what I mean? So it kind of just, to me, kind of eliminates the DC Elseworlds brand when you bring in one character from another universe that you already have established and bring them into this new universe. Then you kind of break the rules of what you already established. So that's why I don't like the idea of it. But I understand people who do, because it's an interesting thing. It is a very interesting dynamic. I'm going to show a pic. We're going to see if I can find a picture. See if we can find a picture here. I probably have to say Robert Pattinson Batman. There probably is someone has somebody definitely has an art of this. Yeah, like that. I don't know if you guys can see that. I don't know if you guys can see that. I have to say David Cornsweet Superman. But like when you see this image right here, right? When you see something like that, you're looking at that and you're like, you know what? I could see that. I could see why people would want these two to interact. Because there's definitely a similar vibe to them, personally. I definitely see that. So I understand why people want them in the same universe, but to me, again, it just kills all canon for the DCU. And I just don't see it working personally. Do you think two versions of live action Batman Reeves and Guns will confuse the casual fans? We need them for these movies to be successful. I think if there's a way that they could establish, like, hey, this is Matt Reeves' universe. This is a different take on Batman. They're not going to be doing the fantasy stuff like Poison Ivy and all the fantasy stuff. This is more of like a gritty Batman, street level Batman. And then you establish with the DCU Batman, you get the Poison Ivy. You get, all of the crazy fantastical characters in the world of Batman. I think when you establish that with that universe, then people could kind of like say like, okay, this is sort of like, think about it this way, right? This is like Daredevil, like the way people see Daredevil as the street level, side of the MCU, right? The Batman could be the street level side for DC Elseworlds or just DC. So they appreciate it for that. And then you can have, like I said, then you can have the Batman, the DCU Batman, be like, again, with the fantasy side and the crazy things that go on in the Batman world that you couldn't really pull off in a realistic take of Batman. So personally, I think that's what they need to establish so that way fans don't get confused. But I don't think fans will get too confused. I could see casual fans getting it confused for sure. But as long as they establish the difference in between universes, I think it'll be fine. StreamYard is great, my dude. Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you, Carson. Welcome to the stream. I do see a DC Elseworlds comic where Reeves, Batman, and Gunn Superman teaming up. For the people thinks his Elseworlds is wasted potential will get upset. I think that's a good idea. I think them doing a comic where you have, Reeves Batman and Cornsweet Superman, I think you could do that in a comic and it would work because, again, it's DC Elseworlds. They can do that. That brand, you can have these characters interact with each other, and then you don't have the situation where it's like, okay, is this canon to this? Is that canon to that? Because no, it's not. And you could also say that maybe this is a different David Cornsweet Superman. It's not the David Cornsweet Superman that we've been introduced to. Maybe this is a different one. Maybe this is a different Robert Pattinson Batman, because you can do that. So with DC Elseworlds, again, there's so much they could do with that brand. And, there's been reports of them doing a Black Superman movie. That was a thing a while back. I don't know if they're still doing that or not. Constantine, I know they've been trying to get Constantine to come back. I don't know what's going on with that. You said hopefully this year we'll get new DC studio announcements, but for the gaming division. I agree. DC Games has been lacking. It has been lacking. And, I know DC fans hate to admit it, but Marvel's killing them right now in the gaming department. Marvel has so much more to offer in terms of games than DC. And I just feel like if DC could really, get up on its bag and come up with these like really cool ideas for these characters, I think DC could really do some damage in the gaming side of things. So it's just a matter of what they decide to do. But they have so many characters to work with. So think about it this way: like we just had Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. It wasn't a good success for DC. We got this Wonder Woman game, which we got announced a couple years ago. We haven't heard anything about it, even still, so we don't know what's going on with that. It might be a while before we hear anything about that game. I don't know what this is. Are they doing a crypto game? Are they doing? Why do they have crypto here? Maybe they are doing a crypto game. I mean, hey, I'm not gonna lie, that would be kind of cool. Flying around as crypto, I'd be down with that. That'd be kind of cool. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's for multiverses. That's what that's for. They introduced crypto in that because they had the DC League of Super Pets movie. Which, when you think about it, who knows? Maybe we could get something like a crypto, I don't know, like a crypto mini-series or something they could do. Because crypto could have some interesting, storyline and adventures that they might want to tell through there too. So again, there's so much they can do with the DC brand. It's just, as far as what it is, what the plans are, not just with the mainline DCU, but also with the gaming side of the DCU, like my buddy Carson said, the comic side of the DCU, Keep them separate unless there's a future cameo meetup thing to happen. Yeah, like Carter said earlier, like if they wanted to do like a Crisis on Infinite Earths years from now, like nowhere near anywhere in 5 years or anywhere, like 10 to 20 years from now, maybe. If they want to do that, they could maybe do that and have them do that sort of thing. But as far as, like I said, putting them in the same universe, no. Like you said, keep them separate. Fire stream, really enjoying it. Excellent breakdown and analysis. Thank you. Thank you. I want to try to do more breakdown analysis like this on streams. I kind of like this format. So if you guys want to see more of this breakdown analysis stuff, I'm down to do it. Streamlabs is, it seems like Streamlabs. I almost use Streamlabs. StreamYards has been really cool because I'm able to show off what I'm talking about in the stream, and you guys can kind of see, and I just think that's a really nice layout now. So like I said, I know my camera's a little blurry, and we're going to work on that. So now something that I want to see in the DCU at some point, because we got to see it. We got to see it. We got to see the Teen Titans, okay? I want to see a Teen Titans movie. I know we're supposed to be getting. There's rumors of a possibility of one. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but there were rumors about it, and I think they did get a writer, if I'm not mistaken. A Spider-Verse style Flash movie. Thoughts? That's interesting. Well, I'm sure you know, Carter, but we almost got a Batman Beyond movie in the style of Spider-Verse. If you guys have not checked out that video, I did a video a while back talking about that too. And the creators, not the creators, but actually people from who worked on Spider-Verse, they actually talked about their ideas for the movie, and there's concept art for it too. I don't know if you guys can see it here, but this was some of the art that they had. And just looking at that art, like, such a missed opportunity. Such a missed opportunity. How did they not greenlight a movie like this? I don't know. I just don't know. But maybe, who knows? Maybe, they can spin the block with this idea. Maybe James Gunn, because James Gunn did say that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is one of his favorite superhero movies of all time. Like, he adores that film. So who knows? Maybe we could get a Batman Beyond movie in the Spider-Verse style, maybe some years from now. I would love that. I think Batman Beyond is a very interesting character. Shout out to Terry McGinnis. Terry McGinnis is such an interesting character in himself. And like I said, I think he deserves a movie. Will we get a Batman Beyond live action movie? Definitely not right now, but I would love to see it in the future. Or Arcane style Flash animated series. Yeah, I would love to see a Flash animated series in like a different style, because like I said, these characters are going to be going from animation to live action, so they can get away with that. They can do stuff like that if they want to. DC Anime Flash, shout out to him. But Carter, I know you're like a big fan of Flash. I could tell. So what's something you would like to see in a Flash movie if it was up to you? If James Gunn and Peter Safran came to you right now and said, "All right, give me your best pitch for a Flash movie. It can be animated or live action. Give me your best pitch, story-wise, all that. What would you go for? Because I'm curious." Looking at all the DC animated shows that we've had throughout the years too, it's it's a pretty huge history. When you really think about it, it's a huge history of just DC animated cartoons we've had. And I think adding Creature Commandos to that list, I think, is a really good accomplishment. I said there's so much they can do. I honestly thought about, I don't know if you guys would be interested. I want to get a better setup. But in the future, I do want to do some tier list streams live with you guys where we can rank like the DC animated shows, rank the DC live action movies, rank the Marvel movies, or whatever we want to do, right? Like I've had ideas about doing that live, but I want a better setup because right now, the way my internet is and why I'm so blurry, I'm just not proud of my setup right now. So that's something we can work towards, but I definitely want to do that in the future. If you guys are interested in live tier lists, I guess those are still cool. Yeah, man. Justice League. I've been actually rewatching the Justice League cartoon on Netflix. And I didn't realize just how dope a lot of the storytelling was in that series. But like I said, just off a rewatch, like there's so much storytelling that they do in that series. Okay, Wally West as Flash as the Flash villains, Rogue's main villain versus Flash, and well, besides off the Mark Wade Flash comic run, and Barry is retired. Okay, so you want to so to put it all together, Barry is retired. Wally West takes over as the Flash, and he has to learn how to face adversity, deal with his trials, and go through a little bit of getting beat up from time to time, I would imagine. Being the new Flash with the rogues gallery that Flash has. And maybe this all sets up to one big boss, is my guess. I'm guessing that's what you want to do with the Flash movie. But maybe Wally gets some advice from Barry from time to time when he isn't able to, accomplish certain things and stuff. I can see that's a very interesting concept. I wonder if there is like Flash. I don't think there is though. I don't think there is. You said, yes, I hope I did good with this idea of the Flash movie I came up with. Yeah, you did good. You did good. And you know what? I think that's an interesting story idea. Just the fact that Wally West is the new Flash, and again, he has to come to terms with, but being with this power that he has, but also he has to deal with the fact that Barry isn't really able to be there to assist him in battle. He has to, like I said, learn to be his own Flash. He may get little advice tips from Barry, every now and then, but it's just mainly him. This is his story. So yeah, I like your idea. Okay, I put that in there. All right, cool. Um, but yeah, I think that's like pretty much what we gone over. Like we went over a lot. I was surprised we talked about a lot in like almost an hour and 30, which I'd say like an hour and 30 is when I'm gonna end the stream anyway, because I gotta do something today. So I won't be able to stream like 2 hours like I did yesterday. But this was fun. Being able to talk Superman at the Puppy Bowl, whatever they're going to do with that. Which again, if you guys have any, and I'm not just talking about people in the live, but anyone on the replay watching this, if you have any thoughts or ideas of what footage could be shown at the Puppy Bowl, what the special announcement is going to be that James Gunn is going to make. Could it be another trailer at the Super Bowl? Could it be something else? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Also, Supergirl, it's been confirmed that she's appearing in, the Superman movie, as well as her film is currently starting production. So I'd love to hear about that. What do you guys think about Millie Alcock? Do you think she's going to be a good Supergirl? I think she is. I've seen her in quite a few things, and she's a really good actress. So I think she'll do really good as Supergirl. Also, James Gunn, he's been talking about pre-writing his next project for the DCU. What could his next project be? Could it be Aquaman? Could it be Sergeant Rock? Could it be Booster Gold? Could it be something completely out of the woodworks that we haven't even thought of yet? Like, I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on that too. There's just a lot coming out from the DCU, as a whole. And we talked about, the Batman, should the Batman be canon in with the DC universe? And yeah, we talked a lot. We talked DC games, which again, I really hope James Gunn does focus on DC games, because that's something they really need to hit home with. Video games are very big. They're a big, very big form of entertainment. And I'd say there has been a lot of video games that to me top a lot of movies. And I think that's just a testament to great storytelling in video games, but also not just the storytelling, but being able to experience it for yourself. And I just hope that James Gunn sees the advantages and the pros when it comes to doing video games, either in the DCU or DC Elseworlds, that he takes advantage of the experience, immersive experience when it comes to video games in the DCU. So, yeah. So if you guys have any more comments, ideas, questions, definitely let me know, because I'd be down to hear them. I definitely would have tried to play the Superman trailer, but Warner Brothers strikes people. They striked me hard for that that Superman reaction I did. So I said I probably won't show Superman footage. But if you guys haven't already, if you're new here, this is my channel, JaceTheDon. I try to go live on here as best as I can. I try to do a live at least one or twice a week. Sometimes I might do one, sometimes I might not. It just depends on my schedule. You see, we're live right now. We're live at 5. Well, now it's 6 o'clock, but if you guys haven't already, definitely check out the channel. I have some videos up here. I did a really cool, amazing video for Sonic 4. So if you guys are looking forward to Sonic 4, definitely check that out, because I do give a lot of information about that. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, I've been doing a ton of news videos for that, and I do have another Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man news video that's going to be coming in the coming days. So definitely stay tuned for that, and subscribe and hit your notification bells if you haven't. Check out my Daredevil Born Again trailer reaction. Really enjoyed making that. Looking forward to Daredevil Born Again. We did a live stream as well talking about it. So if you want to get some details on that, definitely. The Amazing World of Gumball, that video is going crazy right now about season 7. It's coming out in 2025. So a lot of things to just be excited for and look forward to. And I did do a short, and this is pretty much just a shorter version of the Daredevil Born Again reaction that I did. So definitely check that out. I also have all my links are right here in my description, my Twitter page, my Instagram page, my second YouTube page that I don't use much, that I'm still trying to figure out what to do with, my Twitch page, which eventually I will be playing games at some point on Twitch. So definitely be on the lookout for that. All my links as well, like my Letterboxd, and you guys want to follow me on Letterboxd and all that good stuff, you guys can there. I can actually pull that up right now for you guys. These are all my links here as well. Like I said, Instagram, Kick, which I'm not going to be using Kick because Kick has a lot of crazy people on it, and I don't want any part of that. Let's just say that I don't want any part of that. Yeah, I got my Letterboxd here, so if you want to know what movies I'm currently watching, I try to do a review as much as I can. I got my TikTok page, which hopefully you didn't uninstall TikTok off of your devices like I did, like a silly guy. Yes, I uninstalled TikTok, and I wish I didn't. So if you want to follow me there for all my little clips there, you can. Again, my Twitch there as well. Like I said, I'm just all over the place, trying to get us to a place where we can start doing more things and just getting more interactive with you guys. Like I said, I really enjoy doing these streams and just chatting it up with you guys. It's just great to just do these streams, and I always enjoy bringing something new. Like, if you leave here, I want you to be able to leave here in good spirits, in good vibes, but also maybe you learn something. You know, they say knowledge is power, and I believe that. I believe knowledge is power, and if there's one person today who left here with something that they didn't know about, I think I served my purpose. If I entertained you today, if I made you feel good, if even the fact that of me doing a stream today got you excited, if that meant something to you, I did my job as an entertainer. I entertained you, so I did my purpose. I'm happy with that. I could go and complain about not getting 1,000 views a live stream and all that, but I don't want to. I appreciate, even if it's just one person watching the live stream. Everybody that comes through in the live stream, I appreciate it. It doesn't matter if it's one person, 10 people, 1,000,000 people. I will still be appreciative of every single person who's come in, because you taking the time out of your day to just see a guy like me with the Wolverine shirt on, a guy like me just taking time out of your day just to watch the stream, it means a lot to me. So I want to give you guys thank you for just showing your support and love again on this journey. Like I said, next week will actually be 3 years since I've done YouTube, which is insane to talk about. I've been doing YouTube for 3 years, and who would have thought I would have been where I am today? A lot of channels, they grow fast. They do. But I've definitely grown at my own pace, and I'm acceptive of where I've grown. I know yesterday I kind of ranted about certain things and why I don't get noticed for certain things. And sometimes as a creator, you do have those moments where you feel that way. I'm not going to sit up here and say that I don't. I do have moments where I feel like, man, you know, I did this, I did that, and this other channel comes in and they have this, and it's like, oh man, like you know, you have moments like that. But when you're able to accept that you have moments like that, just shows that you can work harder at what you do. And for me, I just, you know, like what they say in the gaming community, you just got to get good. And for me, that's just the mindset I have. Get good, do better, work harder, bring something new to the table. So that's what motivates me, even though I have my days where I feel like I just want to quit. And I've said this many times. There's been many times where I've wanted to quit YouTube altogether. And like, seriously, I wanted to stop doing YouTube altogether. But there's that passion inside me that says that I just can't. There's so much more I want to bring in. It's not just animation, not just Marvel and DC, not just movies and TV shows and music. I want to bring you guys on the journey with me. So like, if I travel places, I want to do vlogs. I want to give you guys just a bit more insight into who I am as a person, because when I grew up, I never really had my family have these VHS tapes of me when I was a child, at least not to my knowledge. But for me, doing YouTube and kind of going out of my realms and doing vlogging and stuff, it gives me an opportunity to document my life, so that way I can look back on those moments when I'm older and much more wiser, and say like, do you remember where you were when this happened? Do you remember where you were when you only had 10 people watching? And now you got 1,000,000 people watching. And I hope I see that. I hope I get to live the tale where I get to say that I have 1,000,000 subscribers, that I have all these things, all these goals that I said that I wanted to do. I accomplished every single one of them. And that is a good segue to lead into what I always say on the streams. I hope you have a good week, a good day, a good month, a good year. I know it's hard right now. I know there's a lot going on in the world, and there's a lot of uncertainty with the things that people are doing. You know, some people in higher positions are feeling the need to take away rights from people, and there's a lot of stuff going on right now. But I just want to let you know, this place here is a safe place that you can come and we can just Get away from all the stuff that's going on in the world. Get away from all the things that makes us feel like, makes us feel like it's so much. When we can all come together and talk about these things that we're passionate about, I feel that's a step to making the world a better place. And I want to make the world a better place as much as I can, especially this year. I really want to make sure that I have the ability to feel like I helped somebody. You know what I mean? Even if it's just one person. If as long as I have helped somebody today or tomorrow or next week, I feel like that's all that matters to me. And yeah, so if you have a dream, you have something that you're passionate about, go for it. Don't let anyone tell you you can't. Do it. Do it right now. Do it, whenever you feel like you want to, and just be the best version of yourself. Do what you can for yourself and just the world around you. Everybody has a purpose. And I know, like I said, it's hard. Sometimes you go through things and you feel like you don't have a purpose, but you got a purpose in this life. It doesn't matter what other people try to say about you. You got purpose. You are worth your life being here. And take that what you will and make it the best thing possible. We're the dream team over here. We make dreams happen. So I want to make sure that you make your dreams happen. And I know you guys are going to make sure that I make my dreams happen. And I'm going to make sure for myself, because more importantly, if there's no one who's going to make your dreams happen, you know that you yourself is going to make your dreams happen. So that's my advice to anyone. I know I ran on too long. I feel like I wasn't trying to come on here to preach or nothing. I wasn't trying to preach or be a motivational speaker, because I don't see myself as someone as a motivational speaker or anything. But I guess sometimes you just have those vibes where sometimes things just hit you and you just start talking about this kind of stuff. So I think something just hit me. The vibe just hit me to talk about that. So yeah. So like I said, check out the channel. If you're new, subscribe, hit the like button. I promise you won't be disappointed. It'll be worth the 2 minutes, the 5 minutes of your time. I promise you. And like I said, thank you to everybody who has supported me throughout this almost 2 years. Almost 2 years. Almost 3 years of doing YouTube. And I plan to do many more. So as I always say in the end of my videos, if there aren't any more comments, which I don't think there are. No, I don't think there are. So with that being said, big love to you all and peace out.